Hey guys, welcome back to Scald. My name's Joel, and today we are continuing our series of all the Dark Souls series bosses rated from the worst to the best. Uh, Joining me once again is Gabe.
Hey.
So we're gonna get pretty much right into this. We're kind of at that point where all the bosses are kind of blah, like they're not really bad bosses, but they're just kind of
Boring.
they're boring. A lot of them are forgettable. Some of them like they have good lore, but their actual fights not good enough to keep them in the list. So yeah, they're here. So let's get straight into it with number. I believe we're on 51. Yes, 51. Actually, 61. Yeah,
61.
61 with the Asylum Demon, the regular old Asylum Demon.
There's Asylum Matt Damon.
Now, this one is high, a little bit higher than its other, reskinned brethren. Mostly because it's
It's a good first boss.
yeah, it's a decent first boss. Like, it definitely, especially if you're new, it's doable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
attack.
there's a lot of shock value to this boss. I didn't put it in here twice. I didn't think this one was worth being put in here twice. It's a short fight, but a good thing about this boss is that if you don't remember how to plunge attack, he just kind of smacks you off. But it's a pretty easy boss. Not much return value.
Also, you could get his hammer and you kill him without a weapon.
Yeah, but that's even more boring. Anyways, on to 60. Really quick one there. But on to 60, we have the Taurus Demon.
Yeah.
So we got the first and second boss in Dark Souls right in a row here. And the Taurus Demon, he's not a bad boss by any standards, especially for where he is. He's not bad, but
Yeah.
it's like it kind of feels almost like the Asylum Demon, and the basic how you start it is the same. You just plunge attack him. I put it in here twice because it was a short
Yeah,
fight.
there's the good old cheese of you being able to have him step off. Just not as easy to
Just
do.
jump off the back.
Yeah.
And of course,
Yeah,
there's the archers. Yeah, there's the archers that if you don't kill them, they'll just shoot you in the back while you're fighting. But
Yeah.
it's pretty low on the list, mostly because it's not very fun. Trying to fight him. The camera angles, especially, are just like mess you up so much in this fight.
Also, I do like how they added that he could step on you and do damage that way.
Uh,
That's
but
pretty neat.
he's not
Also
interesting
get his
enough
axe.
to get him any higher. He's one of those boring bosses. So, and they just copied and pasted him all over Isolates.
Anyways, next, Flexile Sentry.
Yeah.
This boss is just... I hate the location it's at. It's kind of interesting, but it's just boring. Like, by this point, you don't have good adaptability, which is a whole Dark Souls 2 thing on its own. But, so his moves are just boring to control. Just
I would say that he does kind of have an interesting design and almost unique. I mean, there's a few other bosses that kind of have that design, but it is kind of interesting how there's like two of him on one body. But he's again, he's just kind of like boring, like bland almost.
Also, it is kind of neat when you're fighting and the water does rise slightly.
That I feel like it's cool, but it's an almost unnoticeable mechanic. Like I feel like it barely affects your fight in any way.
It doesn't. All it does is make it the tiniest bit slower at walking. So it's just you can summon Lucatiel for the fight, which honestly it's easy on its own.
Yeah, and you could also summon. I think his name is Bradley, at the Royal Guard.
He summons out for me.
Oh yeah. Well, either way, he's an easy boss. Don't really need any summons for him. So.
Yeah. Anyways,
On
up
to
next,
number 58, I believe this is. We are looking at Mytha the Baneful Queen. Oh, honestly, the only thing interesting about this boss fight is the poison and the mechanic that you can burn the windmill, and it makes this boss fight much easier than it already would be.
Basically, just poison as well.
Yeah, but this is one of those kind of classic Dark Souls 2 bosses that is just so forgettable. You know, like she's just stuck in there.
Yeah, especially if you summon the Jester, I forget his name.
Oh, Jester Thomas.
Yeah, it just becomes so easy because Pyromancy is so good.
Yeah, ridiculously easy.
Fire on my weapon.
Yeah, but
unless you're me and had low adaptability at this point and just kept mistiming each roll.
It's kind of a boring boss.
Yep.
So
57, the Crystal Sage.
Yeah. Now, Crystal Sage. This is kind of a different boss, and that's a lot of people would have him in different places. Some people find him very difficult. Other people find him very easy. I know I find him, at least in the beginning of my Dark Souls 3 experience, I found him very, very difficult to the point where I thought he was just the most unfair boss, you know, spamming attacks. He couldn't, you know, go anywhere.
My playstyle where I'm all just about rolling, he was just easy. Like, I first tried him, I was like, alright.
Yeah, but he's
definitely interesting.
Yeah, he's definitely interesting, kind of unique, very flowing. We like the lore that he has with Big Hat Logan. We thought that was really cool. Other than that, he's just kind of like Mytha, just kind of another boss. You know, he's not very memorable. Yeah.
Especially if you take your time and just take out his clones one at a time, then it becomes easy. He's a boss that, if you rush it, it's definitely harder than it needs to be, which I feel a lot of people do.
Yeah. And just seeing how much damage I took right there did remind me that some of his moves are kind of hard. Yeah, they're kind of not good. But in the grand scheme of things, he's pretty easy, not very memorable, and so he's down at 57.
Also, I like the one in the whatever archives, Grand Archives, better. Anyways,
56 is Scorpioness Najka. Yet again, another boss that is forgettable, yeah.
The best thing about her is being able to summon the other Scorpion dude. I don't remember his name because, again, just everything about her is forgettable.
Yeah. Kind of what I first thought when I went in to see her, I played Dark Souls 1 before I played Dark Souls 2, and the first thought I had was Quelaag. You know, kind of a very similar version to Quelaag, except instead of the lava, she kind of has tails and burrows under the ground.
And just like a plus side to Quelaag, her jump moves around. Covered by 2 strains of hair. Sad.
Yeah. They seem to be a fan of that. But other than that, there's, like, the boss fight's not very hard. I mean, you can die to her, obviously, but, you know, most of her attacks are just kind of avoid and go in and hit, and avoid and go in and hit.
That's just a thing about Dark Souls 2. They seem so hard trying to emulate Dark Souls 1, and, like, each of the things they tried to emulate didn't do as well.
Yeah, you got the Royal Rat Authority with Sif, you got... Well, and Capra Demon, I guess, and then you got this one with
of course, this part where if you stand by this tree, her coming up and gives you an item, which I think is a soul.
That's an interesting concept, and it definitely worked. But
there's a safe spot too, if you know the like little roof.
It's like a stone slab on the ground that you can't burrow through. So,
anyways,
number 55, Vendrick.
Yep.
Vendrick...
He's fun, but refighting him, I realized how boring he is. His moves hit so hard.
Yeah, Vendrick's one of those bosses that you think he would be a very memorable boss. Like, he's like the king of Dranlaic, but he is pretty forgettable. Now
Yeah,
I will
but
say the music
kind of
is
fits.
memorable.
Kind of fits because he's just like a hollowed shell of his old self.
Mm.
So like, he definitely fights a lot crazier, like not with any like respect or dignity, because he's a hollow.
Yeah, he just seems like a tank to me. Like he has a lot of damage, and I am thinking of the mechanic where if you don't get any of the giant souls and you go in to fight him, he takes no damage. Like it's like hitting a rock over and over again. So
And if you don't have all 5 of the souls, luckily I had all 5 of the souls because I had to do the ancient dragon. You have to start his boss fight up with poison. Or it feels like it. I think you can't hit him enough and it'll just take forever, but otherwise, if you just get 4 of them, it takes a while to start up the boss fight.
yeah. And even with 5 souls, he has a ton of health. And he does a ton of damage. Like a lot of his moves can one hit you at low health. Almost all of his moves can 2-shot you. But he's not a very engaging boss. Like you don't feel like you're having a lot of fun while fighting him. It's more just kind of hug his right side and just keep attacking. Try not to get hit.
Yeah, if you get hit, he hits hard.
Best thing about this boss fight, in my opinion, is the music. I love the music.
Yeah.
So this is another controversial one.
On to 54.
Number 54, the Old Iron King. A lot of people I know have this guy very far down. Like, it was bottom of the list, maybe one of the bottom, like, 5.
It's this high because it's really high. Because whereas he's basically just like a lot of his moves are a copy of the Ceaseless Discharge, and again, Dark Souls 2 copying a lot of bosses. His lore is very good once you factor in rain.
And his like the look of him, he looks really good, and the way he just kind of throws himself out of the lava.
Kind of like the Balrog in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. So it's a boss fight that it seems like it's a really, really good idea to have this boss fight in the game. It's a very good concept.
Oh, I almost died there. If you try to hide behind that wall and cast spells at him, you'll just do a move that a lot of people don't see where he'll murder you.
But a lot of his moves, I find, like, one, they're easy to dodge. Like, they're very predictable, and 2, almost all of them are just meant to knock you into the lava, which is not a good mechanic to have in a boss.
No.
But, anyways, 53, Champion Gravetender and the Champion's Great Wolf. Now,
this one, me and Joel disagreed quite a bit. I had him in the 40s, Joel had him in the 60s, so we compromised. There's a lot of parts that I like about this boss, but I just see some of the grievances towards him. First of all, those wolves, they're not needed.
They're just not necessary. Like, they don't add anything to the fight. They're just kind of a distraction to get rid of in the first part.
Yeah, and then, again, it's a PvP boss.
I
doesn't even
personally
use his weapon good.
Yeah, I personally do not like PvP bosses. I think they're kind of almost lazy in a way.
What makes this boss so good is its second phase.
Yeah, the second phase is really cool. I will admit, it's a very big challenge if you don't manage to kill this guy before the second phase really gets into it. But I wouldn't say that's a good thing, because it's just kind of like running around a pillar to try to kill him as fast as possible and avoiding his wolf.
Yeah, this definitely feels like something that could have been in Dark Souls 2, with just like how it was kind of hardness by numbers.
Yeah,
for Dark Souls,
but I do really like the wolf. Like the wolf's actually a fun part of this fight. Like he's fun to dodge, he's fun to attack. So I think they did the wolf really well. One thing, and he does get the Champions bonus, which unlocks PvP, so that's really good. But there's no lore to this boss either. The
This
Champions.
reminds me of a lot is Vord. How the wolf part is. He has a second phase where he gets even crazier and faster. Anyway, on to 52, the Ceaseless Discharge.
Yeah, this is our last boss of the list.
I believe
and,
you had this lower, right? And I got it go up higher. Can I be am I wrong
yeah.
about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was convinced. And this guy, a lot of people would put him lower, but he's up here for a very good reason, and that is he has some of the best lore in any of the Dark Souls games.
Yeah.
It kind of like here. I'll
Witches
let
of
you talk about
Izalith
this.
It's just such a good lore base. Like
Mm-hmm.
their mother kind of screwed their lives over. The Ceaseless Discharge, he's so good is because he's protecting his sister's grave, as you see when you go and pick up his. When you come in the boss room, he's doing nothing to you. He's like, all right, you're here, until you pick up his sister's clothes, and then he's like, all right, nah, that's not cool. So yeah, his lore is just great. He's the brother of like Kalag, son of the Better Chaos. But what makes this boss so funny is just going to the like gate near a pillar and him just doing a big old alley-oop.
Yeah, he just jumps off. But so this boss certainly wouldn't be this high if it just came down to the actual fight. Most of his moves, most of his moves, well, actually all of his moves are pretty much really easy to dodge.
He
But
just jumps
no-
off, back his
Yeah.
fingers, and then he goes off.
Very interesting mechanics in place, very good lore, and his design's pretty good too. So, anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks again for watching. Leave a like, subscribe if you're interested to see more, and we'll see you later.
Yep.